Good evening. As always, thank you so much for joining us again tonight. Minneapolis has seen two high-profile killings involving black men and police just over the last year. And tonight, we're taking a closer look at Daunte Wright's death and the impacts that it's having on the conversation about race and policing. 23 ABC's Bayan Wang has more on how that shooting is being felt right here in Kern County. But tonight, we're actually going to start off with a closer look at Wright's death. Now, that was former Brooklyn Center police officer Kim Potter pulling out her gun and shooting Wright during a traffic stop. The police department says that the shooting was accidental and that Potter thought that she was using her taser, not her gun. And since Sunday, Potter has resigned and protests have filled the streets in Minneapolis once again. And even though that shooting took place more than 1,000 miles away, local leaders in Bakersfield held a meeting today to discuss that shooting death and how they want the response to the matter to be handled here locally. So 23 ABC's Bayan Wang discussed that incident with those leaders and joins us live outside of the Bakersfield Police Department this evening.
Hey Alex, good evening. That's exactly right. I spoke to two local pastors here in town who work very closely with the Bakersfield Police Department to build the relationship between officers and the greater community. Those pastors told me that they're still really just waiting for more details to come out of the fatal shooting death of Daunte Wright, but they say for now they're planning a vigil for him.
Why must this happen in America?
It's a question local pastors Joe Jordan and Gregory Tatum say they've asked way too often. The most recent time following Sunday's deadly encounter in Minneapolis between a Brooklyn Center police officer and 20-year-old Daunte Wright during a traffic stop. Officials say Officer Kim Potter, a 26-year veteran with the force, mistakenly fired her gun instead of her taser, killing Wright.
Now, I guess the question is whether or not it was an accident, and if it was an accident, what should her penalty be?
Potter, who has since resigned, was arrested and charged Wednesday with second-degree manslaughter. Tatum says the incident impacts all black communities, and the familiar heartache has become common.
We as African-American people almost become desensitized to hearing it so much. It's almost commonplace.
Tatum and Jordan are now planning a local vigil for Wright following 3 days of protesting in Brooklyn Center, Minnesota.
In terms of trying to pray for the community and praying for peace. Peace, meaning that we don't condone the rioting, the looting, but we do want our voices to be heard.
And those voices will be heard soon, but for now, we don't know the exact dates or specifics for that vigil. In fact, the pastors tell me that they're working with the Bakersfield Police Department behind me to plan that vigil. As they say, the death of Wright really impacts the entire Bakersfield community. Alex?